Nora, and welcome to Living Life as Easy as with Happiness. Oh, hi guys. Lovely to have you along this week. Thank you for joining me, as easy as is. But before we get started on what I'm going to share with you today, I would like to do a massive big birthday shout out to my gorgeous, beautiful dad who turned 75, 3/4 of a century this month. Had a fantastic time celebrating with you down by the sea, so mwah, happy birthday, Daddy. And also, I'd love to do a birthday shout out to one of my biggest supporters. I love your support. Lynette Ryder celebrated her birthday this week down in Dunedin. Thank you so much for popping in and seeing me every week. I love it, and I hope you've had a fantastic birthday. Yay, birthdays! Anyway, today what I'm going to share with you is my experiences with intuition and that gut instinct, and I'm going to encourage you guys to listen to your gut instinct, listen to it, and just see how much your world can start opening up and changing when you channel in, when you check in and check with your intuition first before you make those major decisions in your life. So I can tell you categorically that my intuition, when I've looked back over the years at circumstances that I've found myself in, my intuition has never, ever once let me down. But here's the kicker, and it's big. I personally myself continuously and continued to let my intuition down. And I'm like looking at this going, because a situation happened a couple of years ago, which I'll share that story with you soon, how my intuition was telling me, and I ignored my intuition, and it got me into trouble. And if only I had listened to my intuition and acted on it, that the circumstances would have been very, very different. And so it's just, we've got to be strong enough and courageous enough to listen and to trust our intuition. Now, there is a difference between what your intuition is telling you and maybe what your head and your heart are telling you. So you've got to learn to differentiate between those three. Is it my gut instinct, my intuition, or is it my head or my heart telling you to do things? Because they are different. And there's another situation that my daughter found herself in this week, which is why I'm bringing you this video on intuition, and sharing you her story, and differentiating the difference between, is it the head, the heart, or is it the gut instinct that you are listening to. So, I know for sure that if I had listened to my gut instinct and been strong enough and courageous enough, I would never have got married. My gut instinct, my intuition told me that it was not going to work, and, I could have saved myself 14 years of agony, pain, for a lot of people if only I had listened to that gut instinct. But the one situation that started turning everything around for me, and I started taking heed of intuition and starting to trust in my intuition, was 4 years ago. My children and I moved into a little house, and we had a technician there to wire up the internet service for me. And not long after he'd been in the home, I had a really uneasy feeling about this guy. My intuition was telling me I need to get out of this house and not to trust this guy. And I was feeling quite nervous about the whole situation. And anyway, he called me down to my daughter's bedroom saying he needed me to help him in there. And my gut instinct was there saying, no, don't do this. But I did. I went down to help him. And sure enough, he did a minor sexual assault, but it still devastated my world, rocked my world. He went to court and got his just dues. But it was an awful situation, and it's one though that could have been completely avoided had I have listened to my gut instinct. the moment I realised that this wasn't right and that something is amiss here and that it could possibly end badly, I should have said, I'm just popping out to my neighbours, I'll be back in a minute. And I should have gone to one of my neighbours, found one home and said, look, I've got a technician in my house, I'm just feeling uncomfortable being there on my own, can you please come and stay with me while he's there? If I had done that, then that little sexual assault would never ever have happened. I let my instincts down again. I keep doing it over and over again. I keep letting down my instincts, my gut instincts, and I get myself into trouble. Or I find myself doing something I don't want to do. I took a job that I knew I didn't want to do. The gut instinct was, this is not really for you. Took it anyway, only lasted 3 months. It was horrible. I could have avoided all of that, them training me and everything, if I just listened to my damn gut instincts. So why don't we listen to it? So now that I know that my gut instinct will never let me down, never, I have learned to check in with my gut instincts first before I make decisions. And it has been just, it's been life-changing. It really, really has. It's just, when I moved into this home here that I'm in now, my gut instinct told me it was the right place for us. We had looked at one and we were close to sort of thinking about taking it, and I'm like, and I kept looking and I found this one by pure listening to my gut instincts as well. It was strange how the circumstances came about that I found it, and it's just been fabulous for my children and I. So listening to your gut instincts can really just open up a world of opportunities. It's absolutely fantastic, and it can save you from devastation and heartache and the sexual assault that I went through. So my circumstances that my daughter went through just last week, which is why I'm sharing this, because I think it's important to share, is that her and her friend were in a park eating an ice cream when they got approached by a young man saying he wanted to be their friend. Their gut instinct told them they needed to get out of here and they needed to get where there were other people. And they did that, and he said, oh, you don't need to be afraid of me, I'm not going to hurt you. Well, the sheer fact is saying those words would ring alarm bells too. But their gut instinct told them, get out of there, and they went and found people. They rang my son because he couldn't get hold of me. He came out and we just went down in a heartbeat because my instinct said, I've got to go and get her straight away. She's not trying to scam a ride home or anything like that. And so both of our gut instincts kicked in. And we went and got her, and then driving back, we passed him, and he looked like he was a man on a mission. He really looked like he was still trying to find them, and he was quite spooky. But then I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she said, what if he was a nice man? Because he was creepy. What if he was a nice looking man, approached them in that same way, even though their gut instincts would have been telling them that there's something wrong with the situation? Would their heart and their, would their head and their heart and their eyes have fought that, and would they have stayed and engaged with the gentleman until God knows what could have happened? Would they have overridden their gut instinct if he had been a really nice looking man? So that's trying to, don't let your heart and your head judge your decision on what your gut instinct is telling me. So, you've got to listen. That could have been a very different scenario. It could have been a nice looking man and a not creepy looking man, but with the same intentions. And would the girl still have listened to their gut instinct? So I am saying, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what your heart and your head is telling you, you listen to your gut instincts. Because like I said before, it's never ever let me down, ever. I'm the one that continuously used to let my gut instincts down. Not anymore. I check in with my gut instincts, and I let that guide me and tell me what's right or wrong. And it's never failed me since I've learnt that little trick. So, yay. You know, if you find yourself in all these sort of situations that you didn't want to be in, was there a gut instinct moment that told you you shouldn't have? Listen to those moments and make the right choices. Be strong enough, be courageous enough to make the right choices. All right. Well, it was lovely having you along this week. You can do it. You're courageous and strong enough to listen to your gut instincts and make the right choices, and your world can open up and blossom. Anyway, as easy as is, much aroha to you all. Take care. Have a fantastic week. Until next Monday. Ciao. Bye.